He's a proud son of two lovely Ghanaians from the Adansi district of the Ashanti region of Ghana. A man by name Opening Kwisidakwa of Adansi Dompoase, a good woman by name Ohima Ama Asokwache Dakwa of Adansia Bejum and Adansia Kritre. I like to think of myself as a conscious, pleasant, cheerful, educated, eloquent, elegant African, first and foremost. And then beyond that, I like to think of myself as a good citizen of the world and somebody who is willing to help others in need and somebody who is willing to speak up for others who are in trouble, who cannot speak for themselves.
How was it like growing up?
It was fun. I had a very happy childhood. The Nigerians have a proverb. They say, if Papa no try, Pikin go suffer. So Daddy worked very hard to make sure we had all our needs. But beyond our needs, we had all our wants as well. And we had enough to give to others, which is what life should be about. You can't just have and watch your neighbors be in need. Because no matter how wealthy you think you are, if all your neighbors are living in filth and squalor, you cannot be happy because all you see around you will be sadness and dirt. So when you have, you must give. So that when you don't have, others too can give to you. But my family has been focused more on giving than on receiving.
So let's talk a little about your family, your siblings, growing up into this. Which area you grew up? How was it like?
I grew up in Tema. Tema is what I would call a culture base for my motherland, Ghana. When a certain kind of music and dance started in an area called Asimin Sidu, where we used to, turn and move like that and do the Mama booth stand. And a very handsome boy at the time called J. Ambule. But he's the one who took that culture from the western and central regions of Ghana and commercialized it into what he called the Simigwa music. But it was popularized in Tema. It was popularized at the time when my father and my mother owned two record shops. I mean, back in the day, whether you're in England or you're in the US or you're in Sweden or you're in Ghana or Nigeria, it was only the cool people who owned the record shops. So Dad was a really cool dude. He liked to look sharp. Mom liked to look sharp too. And they loved to serve customers. So I was always in touch with musicians because every musician who had something to promote would pass by the record shops. Interestingly, when I was in Presec Legon, a rap song came out called Rapper's Delight. And because my dad had sold records for years, we had record stores, and then now we had a nightclub. We had Big Daddy's Palace in Tema, which was the biggest nightclub in the Tema. And I used to organize the biggest dance competition. I mean, you remember Ajete Soa, the world dance champion? The routine with which he won the world dance champion, the film producer and director, Arthur Brown, has seen that routine before he won with it at the World Dance Championship because he danced that routine at Chatukrom. And the first time people saw his backslide, people actually held him up and looked beneath his shoes to see if he had wheels there because his moonwalk was smoother than anybody's moonwalk anywhere on planet Earth. And so in organizing all these shows, I started organizing shows when I was 12 years old because my dad was in that business. So I guess I learned it by osmosis. And organizing all these shows, I was always thinking, what can you do to get the extra 50 people to come to the show? That's how I look at every show. So whether it's a show for Kojo Enchi or Abranti Amachidede or Daddy Lumba or Kidi or Kwame Eugene or Shatawale, I'm naming some of my favorite artists. Or, King Promise or Kwabna or Samini. Essentially, when you plan the show, you're looking at the groups that are coming as constituencies. Some are coming because of some particular songs. But in addition to those particular songs, some are coming because of the personality. Then beyond the personality, some are coming just because they want to go out. But if you really want to catch an audience, you must always ask yourself, what can we add to get the next constituency? So you may say, okay, let's add this extra attraction, or let's add this extra musician. And for every attraction you add another constituency. So in organizing all these shows, as I was growing up, and I heard Rappers Delight, I was like, I could do that because I was already writing poetry. So I started writing rhymes, and I started trying my own rhymes, and I realized that it worked to the beat. So in Presec, my senior George Nipa, George Nipa Sasraku, they used to call him Sass. He and Atifa and Bayon, Eddie Kwame, very good guys in Presec Legon. They would pick me up and put me, on a table and make me rap. And back in those days, I go, my name is Magic George. In the underworld, I'm the master jock. I'm cool as ice and twice as nice. And, silly little raps like that. But as I grew older, I started writing serious rhymes. And that's how the rap thing started, really. Because, we must always remember this thing called import substitution. Whatever you see in another man's land that is beautiful, that is commendable, you must find people in your land that can reproduce it. We must import when we cannot make it. But once we can make it, we must stop importing. Because for as long as we import, our currency will be devalued. We must work towards exporting more and importing less. So if I hear some music in the States, and I know a Ghanaian artist who I think can play that kind of music, I have a habit of reaching out to them and saying, check this music out. I don't say copy it. I just say, check this music out. Like right now, there's a musician in the States called Toby Nwigwe. He's actually Nigerian. I don't think anybody raps like him. Back in the day, Jay-Z was magical. Pac was magical. Big Daddy Kane was magical. Biggie Smalls magical. But Toby Nwigwe is taking rap to another level. So what I've done recently is reach out to a few rappers and I'm like, take a listen to this. Because by listening to this craft and this art, you might be able to raise your craft and your art to another level, and then hopefully we can substitute the import. It's the same with the suits and the clothing and the shoes. I see stuff that's brilliant, I show it. So it's a Savile Row suit. I show it to a local Ghanaian suit maker and say, this is what they did. This is what they did to the sleeves. This is what they did over there. What can you do, to match this? And they learn and they grow.
So what was your biggest stage? Let me talk about your biggest stage as you can see, people like, wow, now I've arrived, What do you about that?
There was nothing bigger than the Embassy Double Do. And to date, there's still nothing bigger than that. Because the Embassy Double Do had very knowledgeable professionals behind it. I won't say there aren't knowledgeable professionals still. There are many of them. The sad truth is that they are not working together. See, because there's a very good producer and show director called William. William Ofori. He's now a general manager of a TV network. You see, I would want to see a day where William, with all his expertise, and Kwashiga, with all his expertise, Ato Brown, with all his expertise, Bakbo, with all his expertise, Pa John Bensifi, with all his expertise, Richie, with all his expertise, Kewa, with all his expertise, are all working on one big production. That is what we have not managed to do. So you get two people with some expertise, and they get 20 people who are mediocre, and then they produce an event. We're not going to get big. What the Embassy Double Do had was a chief executive of a company who was a very respectable person in his field of endeavor, John Cognar Richardson. Whatever CEO you were in any part of the world, this was a man you could look up to, knowledgeable. Jimmy Aiden Ogdi, a human resource director, who wherever you came from in the world, you could look up to. Kofi Selby, a marketing director, wherever you came from in the world, when it came to marketing or culture and tourism or hospitality, he's somebody you could look up to. Geddy Lai, the chief executive of MMRS, advertising manager. Wherever you practiced advertising in the world, he's somebody you could learn from. These were the management of just the sponsor, not the organizer. And then you had Frank Edwards Iden, the organizer, benefiting from the knowledge of all these people, and then building his team to organize. But then beyond that, a planning committee with Nana Benyin Datsun, the most respected arts writer in Ghana at the time, Godwin Avenobo, one of the best ever show producers for television and radio in Ghana at the time. Then some black kid called Kwesi Cheidakwa, arguably, the baddest ass when he came to MCing and show producing at the time, also sitting on it. Chris Omabo, who was a campaigns manager for Ghana Advertising and Marketing. Nana Omabo, a beautiful lady who understood style and who was also a campaign manager for an advertising agency. I mean, everybody there had some peculiar talent. You were not in there just because you were a political appointee. No. You were there because you had some peculiar talent. If you didn't have something special to offer, you were not at the table. And everybody wanted to make sure they made a contribution. So the Great Embassy Double Do was just one well-organized program. And then there was this other added thing where it went through all the 10 regions of Ghana. The campaign was solid. And every time they wanted a new type of advertising to drive it. So I remember they came to me once and said, listen, with all your rap, can you do us an ad? And that's how we came with the Double Do is here again. For each contestant, a prize to gain. Be a dance champion or a beauty queen, or come enjoy the exciting scene. And then I put all the prizes in there as well. And I got a contract to do the ads for the Great Double Do consistently for some 7 years, and then hosted the show for consistently some 10 years, and it became the Triple Do and all that. So that was great. But I've done other great shows, around the world. I've done shows in Paris for Elf International. I've done shows in La Côte d'Ivoire for Nescafé Frappé, big shows. And I've done the Panafest in Ghana where we had Jermaine Jackson and all these other musicians, Public Enemy, come and perform. I've hosted shows at Shabarangs. But the shows that I host that touch my heart the most are shows on which we can promote new talent. We seem to have a dying breed of good quality DJs and good quality arts professionals and promoters in Ghana. You are not a great presenter if all you do is play what is already popular. No. You're a great presenter if you can unearth, write about, promote, and make people understand new talent. And I think that's missing in Ghana today. I want to challenge all our people on radio, every one of you. Pick all the different musical genres we have in Ghana. And it saddens me when I hear some of the presenters say genre. And yes, genre is genre. It's G-E-N-R-E. I mean, if you're on radio and television, the least you can do is to pronounce things correctly. Every musical genre we have in Ghana, find 30 Ghanaian artists who perform in that genre and promote them. That is what is going to be a legacy for you. If all you do is come and sit there and play 37 Nigerian songs, then you play 4 Ghanaian songs, play 22 American songs, then you play 3 Ghanaian songs, play 50, English songs, then you play 7 Ghanaian songs, you might as well go and get a job in Nigeria, in the US, or in the UK. The airspace in Ghana is for Ghanaian artists and Ghanaian artistry. We don't want to shut out the rest of the world, but the majority of our airspace must be for promoting our own. I think we've grown. I don't like it when people just want to condemn the new artist. We've grown. I'd like to explain this way. You have a big garden. You want some flowers to grow. You can use some weedicides to kill the weeds. But if you're not careful, you're going to kill a lot of flowers too. So I want you to go gently and pull out the weeds one by one. It may take a longer time. Some weeds may be growing as you're pulling some out. But the truth is, if you want to just clear all the weeds at once, you're going to kill a lot of flowers too. So let's be fair. I mean, we've come a long way from the days of Ike Nyame and Onyantofoyin and Nana Kwame Ampedu and Akwesi Ampofo and Alex Konedu and A.B. Krenzel and J. Dublé Ambule. What the promoters of culture need to understand, and when I talk of the promoters of culture, I'm talking of you guys in television, my friends in radio, my friends in the press, my friends on social media. We are all promoters of culture. What we do in culture is not the same as politics. In politics, somebody serves a term, then we elect them again to serve another term, and then they are out. In culture, it is not so. They serve their term, they inspire others to grow, but they stay. If you try to pull them out, what will happen is you create a system of hatred where every new generation wants to come and kill the old generation. So if I look at programming on television and radio today, it saddens me because it is important that we have programs that are safeguarded for us to play music from before 30 years ago. And then programs that are safeguarded to play music from between before 30 years ago to before 7 years ago. And then music for after 7 years ago. So that we can sustain those who inspired the ones who our young people know, as well as sustain those who our young people know and still promote our young ones. You know, and I don't think we have people in the Ministry of Culture and Tourism who understand this sufficiently, because this should not be coming from somebody out of the ministry. The essence of appointing people in political positions is for them to take leadership roles, and when they do not know, to find people who know to help them to drive leadership and to influence others. But nobody seems to talk about this. I dare say, I don't know any young musician anywhere in the world, for me, Kwesi Cheidakwa, who is better for me than Kidi, Kwame Eugene, Shatawale, what's his name? Kwabna, Samini, or King Promise. We just have not trained our eyes to see the beauty of our own. And radio and television is not helping. I like the democratization of the airwaves with our local languages. It should empower more people to speak. I remember one time some chap told me, KKD, radio ni yakani chi. Mama afedi found abagan. I'm like, no. What he's saying is, KKD, you guys have done very well. You've done well because now we can speak Chi on radio. You've brought freedom to Ghana. And I said, no. Freedom has always been in Ghana. The point is a lot of you could not learn and speak the basic language you've been taught since you were 2 years old at school. And so you could not phone in to contribute to programming. But now that you have the freedom to phone in to contribute to programming, you're spending all your energy insulting and attacking people instead of making sense. That's the basic difference between the cultures that we call the first world, and the cultures that we call the developing world. We're all so poor, and not poor just in material things, but so poor in intellect and so poor in character that we spend more time attacking our betters than improving ourselves.
But how did you end up in the UK?
Oh, it's a long story. It was a story of love. Make it short. It was a story of love. I married very young, you know. I wed my ex-wife on her 21st birthday. We had 2 beautiful children in Ghana, you know. I put her through university in Ghana, and then when she completed university, she said she couldn't find a job in Ghana, so she wanted to go work abroad. And, so when you love your woman, you make things happen. So took her abroad with a maid servant and all that. Eventually she said, sure, I want the children, I'm going to miss them. So the children went with her and caring for them from here. But Atu Brown knows very much about it. And my brother Charlie Chicken, I hope he gets to watch this in London. So we got to a point I told her, listen, this is not working, it's getting too expensive. Sending money from Ghana. And there are no mechanisms for sending money from Ghana to Europe. So when I wanted to send money from Ghana to Europe, the banking charges were so expensive because it would go through New York before it comes to London. It was crazy. Or I'd have to find somebody to give them the money, and they would get there, use the money to buy things to come and sell before the money would get to my wife, which was no good. I mean, there would be times when I would also go through my former boss, Steve Marfo, God bless him. Very good man of blessed memory. He was the owner of Megastar Records, which I ran for 2 years as the general manager. And he would send his driver in England to drive to my wife's home and send money. And I missed them so much. So I said, listen, it's not working. I'm doing great here. I mean, I was the advertising and promotions manager for ABC Brewery Limited from the age of 26. And after 6 years there, I'd become the general manager of the biggest record company in Ghana at the time, because I was managing Abranti Amachidede, George Darkon, Anansiam PSC, and Nana Tufo, Tego Sisters. Everything that mattered in entertainment was actually in my office. And she says, no, but if you were here, things would be much better because the kids are in school here. So, you love your wife, you love your kids. They are there. It's you alone here in a 4-bedroom house, all by yourself with a houseboy and a maidservant and 3 cars. Just doesn't make sense. And I wanted them to come. They didn't want to. So I ended up going there and starting life all over again there. But for me, it was good because I got to be in the same space with the woman I married and my children.
Now let's just talk about what you're doing now, the future.
Oh, the future. The future is bright. It's so bright we all got to wear shades. The future is even brighter because of the things I have been through. I've been lied about. I've been persecuted instead of prosecuted. I've been hated based on a lie. And through it all, still I rise. And God has been very kind to me because my enterprises are working. My staff are happy. It's good to know that your staff love you, and they tell me. If they are lying, I don't know. I mean, Biama and Co. If you're lying that you love me, God is watching you. They love the way I treat them, and God gives us work to do because I love work. And I'm writing my books as well. I've got 3 completed, all not yet published. But once in a while, I take an excerpt out of it and put it out there. And the future for Ghana is also very bright. Bright because I feel a certain new wave of optimism. I'm not a political animal. I vote, yes. I campaign as well. I mean, I look for whoever is the lesser evil and vote for them because in politics, they say, every one of them, no matter how good your intentions, will have somebody in the pack who is also just there to make some money and just there to help their family. But find a lesser evil, campaign for them, help them get into power and let them do some good. But the reason I feel the future is bright is because more Ghanaians abroad who have gained expertise in various fields of endeavor, who have come home on vacation, have started seeing ways in which they can solve problems. See, too many people about the branding. I mentor a lot of young people, as you very well know. And too many of them are like, I like to speak like you, I like to dress like you. I'm not, no. Work like me. Work like me. I speak as part of my work delivery. I work as part of my work delivery. But if you're constantly plugging it, if you throw a lot of rice against the wall, some will stick. And as I see all these young people, all these smart people who are at the top of their careers around the world, wherever they are, whether they're even working in McDonald's, tossing burgers, or cleaning offices, or actually working as doctors and nurses, all these people wanting to come home to solve a problem, it makes you realize that we're going to get somewhere big. We just need to get the mindsets of the locals who tend to dislike people who come from abroad to change. I think the average Ghanaian likes a foreigner who comes from abroad to live in Ghana than a fellow Ghanaian who comes from abroad to live in Ghana. Why that's the case, I do not know. Because it's these people from abroad who are going to bring a new work ethic into this country. Our work ethic in this country is poor. We must accept it. If we cannot accept what our illness is, we're never going to find a cure for it. Our love for each other is bad. Our hate for each other is abominable. And our dislike for people who we perceive to have a more comfortable life than us is just disgusting. And if we can just work on it day by day and change it, we're going to do great things. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, live your way, be true. But remember this, the mansions and riches we leave our children are nothing but rags and grass. It is the lessons we share and the laughter that we truly last. The name is Dakwa, Quincy J. Dakwa.